Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Let us chant one round of japa with Srila Prabhupada. Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine, Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine, Nirvishesha Shunya Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते
ओम
वासुदेवाय।
नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रीमद् भगवद गीता एज इट इज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। समवेत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। Hare Krishna, dear devotees,
हरे
welcome to
कृष्ण।
today's
Number question to
Srimad
shout it.
Bhagavatam session. Let's recite Bhagavad Gita Shloka. Those who need to go first, please raise your hands. Aditi Lata Mataji and Priyanka Haripriya Mataji. So today, we are reciting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, text 1. Right. Aditi Lata Mataji, Arunita.
Arjuna Vacha Evam Sitata Yukta Ye Bhaktyastam Parivasate Yachapya Aksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Translation. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna uvacha evam satata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupashate ye chapi aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamah. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship Brahman, the unmanifested? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktastam paryupasate ye chapya aksharam avyaktam tesham ke yogavittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So next, Isha.
Arjuna Vacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhakta Swam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Krishna Shish.
Arjuna Vacha Satata Yuktaye Bhaktastam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Madhava.
Arjuna Vacha evam sarata yuktaye bhaktasvam paryupasate se ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesam ke yoga vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested.
Rasa Priya.
Arjuna Vacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktasvam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who are manifested?
Vindhyavali Mataji.
Arjuna Vacha, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. My humble obeisances, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Arjuna Vacha Evam Satata Yuktaye Bhaktasvam Paryupasate Ye Chapyaksharam Avyaktam Tesham Ke Yoga Tamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested?
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Achintya Dev Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mata. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled devotees.
Please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhuji. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Would you like to try?
Yes, Mataji. Arjuna Vacha Evam Satate Yuktaye Bhaktas Tvam Parusyasapate
Paryupasate.
Bhaktas Tvam Paruyupasate Yachapi Aksharam Avyaktam Tesam Ke Yoga Vittamaha. Translation. Mataji, can you scroll up a bit?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect, those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Bhagavad Gita chapter 12 text 1. Arjuna uvacha evam satata yukta ye bhaktasvam paryupasate bhaktasvam paryupasate ye chapyaksharam avyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Arjuna inquired, which are considered to be more perfect? Those who are always properly engaged in your devotional service, or those who worship the impersonal Brahman, the unmanifested? So, did everyone recite? I think everyone has recited. So let's read Srimad Bhagavatam. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 11. Lord Ramchandra rules the world. Yes. So we were reading in this chapter so far that we read about Lord Ramchandra's rule and the glories of chanting Lord Ramchandra's names and his pastimes, how one becomes free from all sinful reactions. Yes. Then how Lord Ramchandra, he goes back to the spiritual world, to his abode, Ayodhya, in the spiritual world. Not that he goes and merges into impersonal Brahman, that's not the case. Because it is said that the Lord Ramchandra returned to the abode to which bhakti yogis go. And when Lord Ramchandra went, along with him, all the citizens, anyone who was attached to Lord Ramchandra, either as a subordinate or as an equal, they all returned back to Godhead. They all went to the spiritual world, Ayodhya. And anyone who simply hears about these pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, he will be cured of the disease of envy. And because what is binding us in this material world, we have envy. But when we become free from that is the quality of the conditioned soul, being envious. But by hearing about the pastimes of Lord Ramchandra, one becomes free from envy. That means he becomes free from the bondage and he'll become liberated. Also, now Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadev Goswami a question. What was Lord Ramchandra's relationship with his brothers? And what was the relationship of the brothers towards Lord Ramchandra? How were the dealings between them? Not just the brothers of Lord Ramchandra, because who are the brothers? They are the personal expansions of the Lord. How did Lord Ramchandra deal with the brothers? And how did the brothers deal with Lord Ramchandra? How did they treat him? And how did the other citizens serve Lord Ramchandra? So in answer to that, Sukadev Goswami said how Lord Ramchandra sent his brothers to conquer. He would send them to make sure that there is law and order in the country and to conquer other, anyone who is rebelling against the king, like that. But Lord Ramchandra himself stayed in the kingdom, in the city of Ayodhya, and he would attend to administrative work, and he would be available for the citizens to solve their problems. So here one important thing that Srila Prabhupada told us in the purport is how just because the brothers were very, obedient to Lord Ramchandra and they were devoted to Lord Ramchandra, it's not that Lord Ramchandra just kept them with him to all or to always, be with him and, just have a good time, enjoy the association of Lord Ramchandra. He sent them out. He sent them out on service. So that is important. That is the mood of Lord, of the Supreme Lord, right? Because we have to be maintained. Of course, his brothers were his personal expansions. They didn't need that, but they are setting example for all of us. Lord Ramchandra is Maryada Purushottam. But we have to, if we are in the conditioned state, then also we have to remain in that consciousness of a servant, not that we become comfortable in devotional service and enjoy the Lord's, association. We should be always ready to serve the Lord. We should maintain that mood of that eagerness to serve the Lord, right? And being able to take any risks for the service of the Lord. Then you may question, but what about the citizens? The Lord didn't send the citizens out. They stayed there and he was giving them his personal association every day. The citizens were coming and seeing, but his brothers were going out. So here we should understand that the Lord knows the capabilities of different devotees, right? Those who are capable, they are sent out for preaching, and those who are not so capable for preaching, then they are engaged in the house, right? In the temple, in doing various services. Ultimately, the whole thing is the Supreme Lord's movement, the Sankirtan movement. But still, relatively speaking, Sankirtan devotees are, they are taking risks. They're going out, right? So therefore, but if somebody is not capable of doing that, then uh, then they're giving services in the temple. So according to the capabilities, the Lord engages. Therefore, we may not think that, oh, he's partial to these citizens, therefore he's keeping them with him, and is not so favorable to his brothers, so he's sending them away from him. It's not like that. So that's where we ended the last session, text 25. That's what we read. See, the younger brothers of Lord Ramchandra were at home enjoying the personal presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the Lord ordered them to go out and achieve victory all over the world. Right. So the Lord is sending them out. So the Lord's sending his brothers out, that is his favor to his brothers. The Lord sending his brothers out to conquer, that is his favor towards his brothers. Yeah. So Srila Prabhupada also says one point here, how preaching is important, right? Some devotees say, no, we don't want to leave Vrindavan, we want to stay here all the time. But for preaching purpose, you have to leave Vrindavan and you have to go out, because that is Mahaprabhu's mission. Prithivite ache jatto nagaradi gram. So to go to all these nagaras and gramas, you have to go out of Vrindavan, right? If you don't go out to preach, if Srila Prabhupada had not gone out, then would the movement spread like this today? Right? So Srila Prabhupada made that move, right? Sacrificing. He was already in Vrindavan, right? And he was at such a ripe age. Still, for the sake of Mahaprabhu's mission, he left, right? And this is the Lord's mission. He sends his devotees out, right? He orders them to go out. And when the Lord orders the devotees to go out, that is his mercy towards them. That's the point. But at the same time, so see, a pure devotee must execute the order of the Lord and must not gratify his senses by remaining stagnant in one place. Falsely proud, thinking that, now he's an advanced devotee, therefore he will just stay in one place and he will do bhajan. He should not do that. Srila Prabhupada said, work now, samadhi later. At least for the followers of Srila Prabhupada, that's our mission. Srila Prabhupada never took samadhi, did he? Until his last days, he was always preaching, translating. So, as the followers of Srila Prabhupada, right, Srila Prabhupada is expecting the same from his followers also. Of course, right, depending on the capability. Sometimes if somebody is not capable of preaching, then he will engage them in other services. And it doesn't mean that they don't make progress because they are not doing this. No, important principle is you have to carry out the order of the Supreme Lord without any reservations. That is required. And here the Lord is personally instructing that you go out and preach. Then anyone who takes that order seriously, he will make progress. Surrender to the Lord, that is important. Then those who are Kanishta Adhikaris do not preach. But the Lord shows mercy to them also. As he did by staying personally in Ayodhya to give audience to the people in general. So those who are not able to take risks for the Lord, who are not able to carry out the Lord's order here, then it doesn't mean that the Lord is not merciful to them. He is merciful to everyone. But we shouldn't make a mistake thinking that he's favoring these citizens. That's why he's giving his personal association to them, and he doesn't favor his brothers. That's why he's sending them out. We shouldn't think like that. Next verse. I think Inba Inya is supposed to read today. Are they here? No. So Isha, text 26. आसिक्तमार्गां गन्धोदै करिणां मदशीकरैः स्वामिनं प्राप्तम् आलोक्य मत्तां वा सुतरामिव.
During the reign of Lord Ramachandra, the streets of the capital, Ayodhya, were sprinkled with perfumed water and drops of perfumed liquor, thrown about by elephants from their trunks. When the citizens saw the Lord personally supervising the affairs of the city in such opulence, they appreciated this opulence very much.
During the reign of Lord Ramchandra, the streets of the capital Ayodhya were sprinkled with perfumed water. We see this in other places also. We see that in Dwarka, when Krishna enters the city of Dwarka, there's a description there also we see. So, sprinkling the streets with scented water, and that is also sprinkled by the elephants. The elephants take that water and they spray it with their trunks. So that practice was observed. So even during Lord Ramchandra's rule, we see that. But not only were the streets sprinkled with perfumed water, but also with drops of perfumed liquor. Right? Alcohol. In perfumes, there is alcohol, isn't it? Like nowadays also in perfumes, the base is alcohol. So not only were the streets sprinkled with perfumed water, but also with perfumed liquor, drops, small quantities, with drops of perfumed liquor. And who's sprinkling this? The elephants are doing with their trunks. When the citizens saw the Lord personally supervising the affairs of the city in such opulence, they appreciated this opulence very much. So having the streets sprinkled with water by the elephants, that is a great opulence. Elephants, who can maintain an elephant? You have to be because keeping an elephant is not a joke. There's a lot of maintenance. First of all, they eat a lot. So you should be capable to feed an elephant daily. That means you should have enough land to grow food for the elephant, right? They like some things like sugarcane. You know, they used to. I don't know currently, but one point I saw they had a sugarcane field where sugarcane was being grown just to feed the elephants in Mayapur. So ISKCON Mayapur has two elephants, not one. Sisters, Lakshmi Priya and Vishnu Priya. And their services, they carry the deities Radha Madhav on their back in the procession every Saturday from the end of Kartik till Gaur Purnima. Every Saturday they carry Radha Madhav, and there's a big procession. So it's a festival every Saturday evening. So maintaining an elephant is a costly affair. And then to have the whole city, it's like engaging the elephants in the service of the citizens. That means what type of honor is being offered to the citizens? Imagine engaging elephants in the service of the citizens, right? The elephants are going and spraying all the sprinkling all the streets with scented water for the citizens. So this is a great opulence, and the citizens greatly appreciated this type of opulence by Lord Ramchandra. I mean, offered by Lord Ramchandra. Krishna Shishi, you're going to read?
We have simply heard about the opulence of Ram Rajya during the reign of Lord Ramchandra. Now here is one example of the opulence of the Lord's kingdom. The streets of Ayodhya were not only cleaned but also sprinkled with perfumed water and drops of perfumed liquor, which were distributed by elephants through their trunks. There was no need of sprinkling machines, for the elephant has a natural ability to suck water through its trunk and again throw it out in a shower. We can understand the opulence of the city from this one example. It was actually sprinkled with perfumed water. Moreover, the citizens had the opportunity to see the Lord personally, supervising the affairs of the state. He was not a sleeping monarch, as we can understand from his activities, in sending his brothers to see to affairs outside the capital and punish anyone who did not obey the emperor's orders. This is called Digvijay. The citizens were all given facilities for peaceful life, and they were also qualified with appropriate attributes according to Varnashrama. As we have seen from the previous chapter, Varnashrama, Gunanvita, the citizens were trained according to the Varnashram system. A class of men were Brahmanas, a class of men were Kshatriyas, a class were Vaishyas, and a class were Shudras. Without this scientific division, there can be no question of good citizenship. The king, being magnanimous and perfect in his duty, performed many sacrifices and treated the citizens as his sons. And the citizens, being trained in the Varnashrama system, were obedient and perfectly ordered. The entire monarchy was so opulent and peaceful that the government was even able to sprinkle the street with perfumed water, what to speak of other management. Since the city was sprinkled with perfumed water, we can simply imagine how opulent it was in other respects. Why should the citizens not have felt happy during the reign of Lord Ramchandra?
Yeah. So do we have this now where the roads, all the highways and all the roads and all the streets are sprinkled with perfume?
Not only sprinkling perfume, all the garbage will be at the sides.
Yeah.
Trash will be sides.
Yeah. I mean, if they can empty the garbage, that's highly appreciated.
I highly appreciate it.
What to speak of sprinkling perfume water and perfumed liquor, that too sprinkled by the elephants, imagine. Everything, all the streets are sprinkled with perfumed water and liquor by the elephants. So that's one example which tells us of the opulence of Ramaraja. Another opulence is everyone has access to the king. The king is personally taking interest in all the affairs. He's personally involved in the affairs of management of state. It's not like he's, like kings, they are always absorbed in their luxuries, in sense gratification, with dancing with women or drinking wine and, in their luxuries, and not taking care of the well-being of the state. No, Lord Ramchandra was very much involved, very much in any organization or family or wherever. When you see that the head is responsible means is actually involved, is aware of the happenings of that organization, is very much involved, then such an organization flourishes very nicely, isn't it? But if the head is disconnected with the people who are actually working, then when that communication is not there and the head is not involved, then things start falling apart. They're not, because they're not happy. So the citizens had the opulence, and here is the king, and he is the supreme personality of Godhead, and he is directly involved in all the affairs, and the citizens are able to see him, and they can approach him with their, if they had any, if they needed to talk to him, he was available, and he was personally taking care of all the management of the state affairs. The citizens were very, very happy. One important note here that Srila Prabhupada makes is everyone was trained according to Varnashram. This was already said before, but it's being repeated again here. Under Lord Ramchandra's rule, see, Lord Ramchandra is Maryada Purushottam. Maryada Purushottam in many ways. He's setting the example himself, not only as a son, as a brother, as a husband, but also as a king. He's setting the example. Who is an ideal king? And how should the king guide the citizens? Right? So he would actually make sure that everyone was properly engaged according to his natural propensity, which is nothing but Varnashram Dharma. So within the society, there was a class of Brahmanas, a class of Kshatriyas, class of Vaishyas, and class of Shudras. And because they were working according to their natural propensity, according to their nature, everyone was completely satisfied. Over and above this, all the opulence. So when you follow this system, opulence will follow. That's also there. Lacking, right? Scarcity is there when you're going against the natural system. When you follow the natural system given by the Supreme Lord, material nature is very pleased. So she will supply everything you need in abundance. There is no question of scarcity. And what to speak of when the Lord is personally present in Ramaraja. So everyone was very happy. Mataji, Indyavali Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. So I realized, when I was young, I used to hear that, if you put fence to the paddy, if fence is protecting the paddy, okay, is that right? Yeah. Then fence is eating paddy, where will you go?
Right.
That's what we used to, in childhood, we used to hear that. When fence is eating the paddy, then where is the protection then? So that's how this is happening nowadays. Everybody says I'm doing Ram Raja, but it takes long time to get Ram Raja. That will come after Krishna comes only. That's all. I'm for sure, because the day by day it's going down and down, not going good. I'm sorry. So that's what my age, during my regime, I feel that what a change. So it's changing a lot. Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga.
Yes.
So this is Kali Yuga. That's all we have to. So like fence is eating the paddy, then there's no protection for us.
So fence is eating the paddy. Fence is like the Kshatriya, the ruler who's supposed to give protection. So if the ruler himself is exploiting the citizens, then what is the condition of the citizens? That is what is happening in Kali Yuga, and with the progress of Kali Yuga, things are only getting worse and worse. They're not getting better. But one note here is, if any change can be made, it can be brought about only by the devotees. They can do it.
That's true.
Because this is the prediction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The next 10,000 years are going to be the golden age. So golden age means once again that whole Ramarajya will come. But for that, all of us, right, we have to work now, and the next future generations will
Working
see.
devotees is means again we are going spiritual side. So God has to help us.
Of course, without that
That's
we
what
cannot.
we devotees, what are we doing? We are praying God. So God needs to help us. If we are pure and we are purely devoting to devotional service, then God will reciprocate and it will happen.
The procedure, the process has been given to us already. All that is required now is each one of us taking that process very sincerely, as you said, becoming pure ourselves, and then yes, the change can happen in society. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Priyanka Haripriya Mataji, are you raising your hand? I was thinking it's from before. Maybe you forgot.
Sorry, Mataji, it's from before.
It's from before. Okay. All right. So let's continue reading. Madhava, right? Let me just check if I missed any points in this purport. So two types of opulence we saw. One is the opulence of the elephants sprinkling water and perfumed liquor on the streets. And the other opulence is the citizens had the opportunity to see the Lord personally supervising the affairs of the state. Yes. Yeah. And then, so they were seeing, and then they were given all kinds of facilities for a peaceful life. And how do we know that? Just by seeing this, how the elephants were engaged, that also tells us how the citizens were given nice facilities. But in addition to that, they were all very nicely qualified. They were qualified and trained properly according to Varnashram. Okay. So then, unless we have this, Srila Prabhupada is saying, without this scientific division of Varnashram system, there cannot be good citizenship. The citizens cannot be happy unless we have this system. Yeah. So then it's the duty of the king to train the citizens in Varnashram, and he himself sets the example. So the duty of the king is to perform many sacrifices. That is in the Varnashram system. The king performs many sacrifices. So although sacrifices is karma, but karma is required. Why? See, the thing is, not everyone is coming to the standard of pure devotional service right away. Right now, still we have. So we are in the conditioned state, and not everyone is able to take directly to pure unalloyed devotional service. If you are able to take to what is pure unalloyed devotional service? That means you don't have faith in anything else even except, like, you don't even have to cook. You don't even feel that, oh, I need to work and I need to earn my grain, then I will survive. You'll feel that simply if I do bhakti, if I chant Hare Krishna, food will come to me. I don't have to worry. That much faith one will have if he's a pure devotee. Now, can you expect this type of faith in everyone immediately? No. Then, oh, you don't have such faith, so rejected? No. Then, step by step. All right, you do karma, and by doing this karma for the Supreme Lord, offer it to the Lord. By that, you will actually make progress, right? So the king also has to set. So therefore, he does sacrifice. Why sacrifice is done? Yagyarthat karmanonyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. So We want to be relieved from the karma which is binding us. How can we be relieved? By performing our activities for the satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. By doing that, or offering the results of your work to Lord Vishnu. By doing that, that work that you're doing will not bind you. You're becoming liberated from that bondage. Like that. And then side by side, they are attached to Lord Ramchandra. Being attached to the Supreme Lord is pure devotional service. So like that. Not pure devotion. Yeah, being attached to the Lord is bhakti. It is bhakti. So that's why everyone went back to Vaikuntha. Next verse. Yeah, why should they not be happy? They'll be very happy. Next 27, Madhava. Prasada Gopura Sabha Chaitya Deva Grihadishu Vinyasta Hema Kalashaihi Patakabhischa Manditam.
The palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, temples, and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags.
Yes. So further description of the opulence of Ramaraja. What were the opulences? What was the opulence during the reign of Lord Ramchandra? The palaces, the palace gates, the assembly houses, the platforms for meeting places, right? So there are public places where there are platforms made for people to sit together and meet, right? So those places, platforms for meeting places. The temples and all such places were decorated with golden water pots and bedecked with various types of flags. So all these various buildings, houses, platforms had golden water pots. What is the significance of water pots, golden water pots? For one thing, it is a sign of uh, auspiciousness and abundance. We hear about this in when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did that non-cooperation, Sankirtan, taking everyone to Chand Kazi's house. And there in that description also we see in every house there were full water pots filled with water at the door. They kept along with a lamp and banana branches like that. So these are all signs of auspiciousness. Also, we read this in same again in Dwaraka, and of course Lord Ramchandra's. Uh, when when Lord Ramchandra returned, right? Then how Ayodhya was decorated. So this full water pots, golden water pots filled with water, tells us about the opulence. You had gold, pure gold water pots in public places. In every buildings, temples, there were just gold water pots. And there were no thieves, by the way. Right? Just drinking water. It was available. And also it's just a sign of auspiciousness. Full water pots. So you would find in every palace, at the palace gates, in assembly houses, like marketplaces where people would meet, in temples, and all other places. And also, all these places were decorated with various types of flags. Generally, you see on the temples, there's flags. But all these buildings had various decorative flags. पूगै सवृन्तै रम्भाभिः पट्टिकाभिः सुवाससाम् आदर्शैरंशुकै स्रग्भिः कृतकौतुकतोरणम्. Rasapriya.
Wherever Lord Ramchandra visited, auspicious welcome gates were constructed with banana trees and betel nut trees, full of flowers and fruits. The gates were decorated with various flags made of colorful cloth and with tapestries, mirrors, and garlands.
So wherever Lord Ramchandra visited, so not just when Lord Ramchandra returned from exile, certainly at that time, but also while he was in the kingdom, while he was the king, he would go to visit, right? So wherever he would go to visit, they would immediately arrange for, in those particular homes or in those places, they would arrange for an auspicious welcome. How? They would have gates constructed, right? Temporary gates, welcome gates. You see, in India, you will see, if there is some, the chief minister or prime minister is coming, then on the roads, they build these big temporary dwaram, right? And then they're decorated with maybe mango leaves or like that. So it's an auspicious welcome, like that, like coconut or banana branches are tied, like that. Water pots, full water pots can be kept. So when Lord Ramchandra went to any place, they would construct these temporary welcome gates with banana trees, betel nut trees, full of flowers and fruits. And the gates were decorated with various flags made of colorful cloth and with tapestries, mirrors, garlands, very nicely decorated to welcome Lord Ramchandra. We see that in Mayapur also. When there is a big festival, then the whole city, not just our temple, but the roads are also decorated with these, uh, like gates. For example, during Gaur Purnima and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, appearance or disappearance, like the whole city, or the town is decorated. तम उपेयुस्तत्र तत्र पौरा अर्हणपाणयः आशिषो युयुजुर्देव पाहि मां प्राक् त्वयोद्धृताम्. So after Rasapriya, is Sonia Mataji here? No. Lokesh? No. Usha Mataji and Medha? Yeah, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees.
Dandavat Pranam Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Wherever Lord Ramachandra visited, the people approached him with paraphernalia of worship and begged the Lord's blessings. O Lord, they said, as you rescued the earth from the bottom of the sea in your incarnation as a boar, may you now maintain it. Thus, we beg your blessings. Meda is already in school, Mataji.
Okay, thank you. So when first of all, wherever the Lord would visit, they would arrange for a nice welcome, auspicious welcome with decorated welcome gates and with auspicious items. And then they would worship the Lord with various paraphernalia, like performing Aarti of Lord Ramchandra, right? Various items are offered to Lord Ramchandra. And after that, they would pray to Lord Ramchandra. They would beg the Lord for his blessings. They would say, the way you rescued the earth as Lord Varahadev, similarly, now you maintain all of us. You maintain this whole earth. You have rescued the earth as Varahadev. Now you maintain it also. Like this, we are begging for your blessings. In this way, they would pray. Tatah praja vikshya patim chiragatam दिदृक्षयोत्सृष्टगृहाः स्त्रियो नराः आरुह्य हर्म्याण्यरविन्दलोचनम् अतृप्तनेत्राः कुसुमैरवाकिरन्. So Narasimha Lila Chaitanya Prabhu, Suvarnangi Mataji, Suraj Purti.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranams, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, translation. Thereafter, not having seen the Lord for a long time, the citizens, both men and women, being very eager to see him, left their homes and got up on the roofs of the palaces. Being incompletely satiated with seeing the face of the Lord, lotus-eyed Lord Ramachandra, they showered flowers upon him. Mataji, I just have two things to mention here. Like one is like, why do we not use that betel nut leaves in our rituals, Mataji, like in ISKCON? Like I heard like when you were reading the last but it was mentioned.
Yeah. Actually, it is a kind of an intoxicant, but betel nut, especially betel nut. So, I mean, it's not like a gross type of intoxicant, like, not like alcohol or anything, but it does have that, right? You may have, when you eat pan, it can actually.
Like caffeine, like how
Yeah.
caffeine acts the same way.
Right.
Yes.
So that's why we don't. Then you can have a question then how the Lord is accepting it, because in some temples, and even we sing in bhajans also, it's offered to Radha Krishna and it is offered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. So he is the Supreme Lord. He can accept. That's all we can say.
So we can offer it to Lord. That's what
In
you're saying.
Srila Prabhupada didn't give us that.
We didn't. We don't have that in our. Right. In our.
Yeah.
Okay, no. I just wanted to.
But when you see if it is being offered to the Lord, there's nothing wrong. It can be offered to the Lord. Just we didn't get it. Srila Prabhupada didn't teach us that in the system, so we just don't follow. That's all.
Okay. Even I had the same question for banana trees, and we usually like put little banana trees.
You can put banana trees, no problem.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, Mataji. What were you saying, Isha? You heard it somewhere? As a child. Okay, let us Isha is saying something about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, but it is still offered. It's not that it's not offered. You go to Ambika Kalna temple, they offer pan to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we offer pranams. It's prasadam, but still we offer obeisances. We don't accept like that. Yeah, but about the pastime, I'm not able to recollect now. Maybe we can check that and then share it later.
Sure, Mother. I had one more thing to share. Like when you were saying, like when the pots are full of water, the golden pots, it's auspiciousness. But nowadays we buy water, so that's like I felt like it's one of the inauspicious sign we are in Kali Yuga.
That too in plastic.
Yes,
right?
in plastic. Yes, just wanted to share, Mother. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you. Yeah. We still use clay water pots here. And especially any offerings made to the deities. Even when grihasthas, they are also invited to make offerings for Radha Madhav, for Panchatattva during festivals, or even daily also. If you want, you can cook. If you're initiated, you can cook and take, and they can offer on the altar. And during when the Lord actually comes out, like the Hathi procession, elephant procession, everyone can cook. They can just cook and they can bring, because it's just for, devotees only bring usually, those who are practicing. So they bring and they offer it to the Lord. During that time, generally you can bring in your steel containers, whatever you have at home. But when they're offered on the altar, on festival days like appearance days of acharyas, or Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, or Janmashtami, when we make offerings, they offer in clay pots, so many clay pots. The altar is filled with so many clay pots. So still they are maintaining that system of clay pots, and water also, like even clay pots are still available. Devotees still use clay pots here. So some little bit is still there somewhere here and there. But yeah, majority, especially if you go into cities. And I mean, we have plastic containers here also in Mayapur also, but that option is there if you want. There we may not even have that option, right?
Yeah. Maybe we carry our own water. Just leave it.
Yeah, yeah, we can do that. Yes.
Thank you.
Saujanya Mataji. Hare Krishna. Saujanya Mataji.
Mataji, sorry, I got dropped off and then I joined. But I just hearing the discussion. Clay pots nowadays, they're available even in US in Amazon, Mataji.
Oh, very nice.
Which you can
Okay.
put it on the stove and cook it. Only thing is, it can be reused.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw in our friends' family, and then I looked up. There are several because everybody wants to. They're acknowledging the importance of that. Actually,
Yeah.
and they're very expensive.
That's the thing. That's the thing. They're very expensive. And yeah, but it's nice that they're acknowledging and they're willing to pay the price and, at least,
Yes,
try
Mataji.
that. So that's
And that
appreciated.
too, those not Indians, but they understood. That's why. Lot of it's not just Indians, not at all.
Wow. I didn't know that. I thought just Indians were getting it. Okay. So let's see. Mataji read, right? Swarnangi Mataji read. Therefore, not having seen the Lord for a long time, the citizens, both men and women, being very eager to see him, left their homes and got up on the roofs of the palaces. So the Lord would go out, right, to visit, and when he would go to visit, so they're coming and worshipping him, decorating the place and all that. But also many men and women, they would get on top of the roofs of their houses because of not seeing him for a long time. The Lord was gone, isn't it? He was in the forest for 14 years. And also, they may not be seeing him every day. Not everyone may be seeing him every day. So when he would come, they would all be very eager to see him. So they would get on top of their homes, on the roofs of the palaces, and they would gaze at Lord Ramchandra. So they are never completely satisfied by seeing the moon-like face of Lord Ramchandra with his lotus eyes. How much ever they would see, they would never feel like, yes, I have seen enough. They would want to see more and more and more. And with this type of eagerness, by gazing the Lord with this type of eagerness, gazing at the Lord with this type of eagerness, they would shower flowers on him from rooftops, men and women. As the Lord is being worshipped by, the other citizens, and when they're offering prayers to him, here they're offering from the rooftops, they are offering flowers, gazing at the lotus-eyed face of the Lord. So we'll just finish up with the Swarnangi Mataji's family and we will end here. So tomorrow we can begin with Nilambari Mataji. Mataji, others are there? Swarnangi Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes.
अथ प्रविष्टः स्वगृहं जुष्टं स्वै पूर्वराजभिः अनन्ताखिलकोशाढ्यम् अनर्घ्योरुपरिच्छदम् विद्रुमोदुम्बरद्वारैर्वैदूर्यस्तम्भपङ्क्तिभिः स्थलैर्मारकतैः स्वच्छैर्भ्राजत् स्फटिकभित्तिभिः चित्रस्रग्भिः पट्टिकाभिर्वासो मणिगणां शुकैः मुक्ताफलैश्चिद् उल्लासैः कान्तकामोपपत्तिभिः धूपदीपैः सुरभिभिर्मण्डितं पुष्पमण्डनैः स्त्रीपुंभिः सुरसङ्काशैर्जुष्टं भूषणभूषणैः. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Right after Lord Ramachandra entered the palace of his forefathers. Within the palace of various treasures and valuable wardrobes, the sitting places on two sides of the entrance door were made of coral. The yards were surrounded by pillars and Vaidura
Vaidurya
money. The floor was made of highly polished Marakata money, and the foundation was made out of marble. The entire palace was decorated with flags and gardens and decked with valuable stones, shining with a celestial effulgence. The palace was fully decorated with pearls surrounded by lamps and incense. The men and women within the palace all resembled demigods and were decorated with various ornaments which seemed beautiful because of being placed on their body. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So you see, we get a glimpse of the opulence of Lord Ramchandra's kingdom. So after being worshipped by the citizens, the Lord would enter the palace of his forefathers. And inside the palace, there were various treasures and valuable wardrobes, right? The clothes that were worn by the forefathers. So they were all I think like museums or something, right? They would have various treasures and valuable wardrobes. The sitting places on the two sides of the entrance door were made of coral. So the chairs, right, they would be made of coral. The yards were surrounded by pillars of Vaidurya money, precious stones. The floor is made of Marakata money, another precious stone. The entire floor is made of a precious stone. And the foundation was made of marble. What do we use for foundation here now, today? Right? There the foundation was marble. And the top finishing was done with Marakata money. The entire palace was decorated with flags and garlands and bedecked with valuable stones shining with a celestial effulgence. Srila Prabhupada often mentions this when describing Dwaraka, that there was no need of any light bulbs or electricity. The whole palace was so nicely decorated with gems, precious stones, in such a artistic way that by reflecting the light, right, sunlight and maybe moonlight at night, these gems were emitting light. So there was no need of any electricity, there was no need of any lamps. The gems themselves were emitting so much light. This is the opulence. So here also we see a similar description that in the palace, from valuable stones, there was a celestial effulgence, not effulgence that you would see on this earth, celestial effulgence. And the palace was fully decorated with pearls. Imagine pearls used for decoration, not just beads, not fake, real pearls. The palace was fully decorated with pearls and surrounded by lamps and incense. So the palace is surrounded outside. There would be lamps. But inside, you would have these jewels, precious stones from which light would come. And there would be incense always in all palaces, wafting, right? So you could, just like temples, like our ISKCON temples, you would always smell incense when you go. So the palaces were like that. The men and women, they all looked like demigods and demigoddesses, decorated in nice, costly silks and valuable ornaments, and they looked very beautiful like this. This is the opulence of Lord Ramchandra's rule. Next. So, Suhrid and Prabhuji. Tasmin sa Bhagavan Ramaha snigdhaya priyayeshtaya reme swarama dhiranam rishabha sitaya kila.
Hare Krishna Matasadan Namaskar Sloka.
Dandavat pranam Prabhuji. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Lord Ramchandra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chief of the best learned scholars, resided in that palace with his pleasure potency, Mother Sita, and enjoyed complete peace. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. So, who is Lord Ramchandra? Of course, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he's the chief of the best learned scholars. So, if you take, so what are the 6 opulences of the Supreme Lord? Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Viryasya, Yashasa, Shriya. Jnana, Vairagya. These are the 6 opulences. Jnana means he's very learned. The Supreme Lord is the most learned. So he's the chief amongst all learned persons. So there, Lord Ramchandra resided in his palace, in such an opulent palace. He resided with his pleasure potency, his Haladini Shakti. So Lord Krishna's Haladini Shakti, Srimati Radharani, they are the fountainhead. From Krishna, all other incarnations are coming. Similarly, from his pleasure potency, all the pleasure potencies of the incarnations are coming. So Lord Krishna's pleasure potency is Srimati Radharani, and Krishna's expansion is Lord Ramchandra, and Srimati Radharani's expansion is Sita Devi. So Lord Ramchandra's pleasure potency is Sita Devi. So Lord Ramchandra resided in that palace with his pleasure potency, Mother Sita, and enjoyed complete peace. Next, Suran. Bubuje cha yatha kalam kaman dharmam apidayan varshapugan bahunrinam abhidhyatangri pallavaha.
Hare Krishna Mataji
Hare Krishna.
Without transgressing the religious principles, Lord Ramachandra, whose lotus feet are worshipped by devotees in meditation, enjoyed with all the paraphernalia of transcendental pleasure for as long as needed.
Purport?
The purport, thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 9th canto, 11th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Lord Ramachandra Rules the World. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So with that we come to the end of the 11th chapter. So the last verse says, without transgressing the religious principles. So the thing is, Lord Ramchandra is making sure that all the citizens are following the Varnashram Dharma. Then would Lord Ramchandra himself transgress the rules, the religious principles? No. Although the Lord is not required to follow any rules and regulations, he is outside the system. The Varnashram system is meant for the conditioned souls. It is not meant for the liberated souls. They are not required to follow that. And what to speak of the Supreme Lord? He is outside. He doesn't need it. But still he is following. He does not transgress the religious principles. Why? Because yad yad acharati sreshtas tatta devetaro jana. Whatever a great man does, common men will follow. If Lord Ramchandra transgresses religious principles, people will take his example and they will also transgress religious principles. So Lord Ramchandra was living in great opulence. He was living with his consort and he was living very peacefully, but without transgressing religious principles. And he is the Supreme Lord whose lotus feet are worshipped by his devotees in meditation. And in this way, Lord Ramchandra enjoyed with all the paraphernalia of transcendental pleasure. So again, the enjoyment of Lord Ramchandra, whatever opulence we are seeing, We need not make the mistake of thinking that this is all material opulence, right? No, not like a rich man of this world who has a big palace and is enjoying all the facilities. No, the Supreme Lord never touches material energy. So whatever he is enjoying is all of the spiritual nature. It is not from the material nature. Okay. Saujanya Mataji.
Mataji, in the previous verse, when you were saying it was decorated with all the best jewels, I just remembered Golden Temple in the New Vrindavan, the inside where we have, they when we go for the tour, they tell this is from this, and devotees wanted with the best ones available to decorate it like that, they say. So I just thought that,
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So to please the Lord, the devotees offer the best. So when they would receive Lord Ramchandra, they would offer the best things uh, for Lord Ramchandra. So similarly, in New Vrindavan, we see the devotees also wanted to offer the best for Srila Prabhupada, by whose mercy we come to understand about the Supreme Lord. So, Yasya Prasadat Bhagavad Prasad. So, if the spiritual master is pleased, then Krishna is pleased. We want to please Krishna, so we should please the spiritual master. So, devotees really decorated the palace with the most valuable things. Thank you for adding that. I
No
think
problem.
I will end the session here today because it's already 6:30 for me. It's your 8 o'clock. We will read Bhagavad Gita and Lil Amrita tomorrow. Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you very much. All of you have a wonderful day in Krishna consciousness. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. Hare